Hello, I'm John Bachman. We start this hour in Israel. That's where you'll find House Speaker John Boehner meeting today with Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu.
Our two countries cooperate on many different levels. And while we may have political disagreements from time to time, the bonds between our two nations are strong.
Not quite as controversial as Netanyahu's trip to visit Boehner, but in the meantime, the meeting continues as talks with Iran over its nuclear program continue in Switzerland. Despite the passing of that deadline yesterday, negotiators say they made enough progress, still have difficult issues to work out, but they will continue to press ahead. Meanwhile, the head of the militia group within Iran's Revolutionary Guard says wiping Israel off the map is, quote, non-negotiable. The commander also threatened Saudi Arabia, stating that that country's motives in Yemen would suffer the same fate as Saddam Hussein. Back here in the U.S., the governor of Arkansas, Asa Hutchinson, is asking lawmakers in his state now to change that state's religious freedom bill. Previously, Hutchinson had said that he would sign that bill, which passed the Arkansas House yesterday, but he decided to send it back for a rewrite after criticism came from civil rights groups and from Walmart, which is also located in Arkansas. Meantime, ex-New York Police Commissioner Bernie Kerik criticizes the country's criminal justice system in his new expose, From Jailer to Jailed. He spoke with us earlier here today on Newsmax TV, where he recounted his time in solitary confinement.
It is mind-altering. It is cruel and unusual punishment for people to be put in solitary with no real purpose, with no real need, that are not a threat to the institution or staff.
Well, his memoir also tells the story of Kerik's fall from grace. He served 4 years for tax fraud and making false statements. The House committee investigating the Benghazi attacks calls on Hillary Clinton to testify by the 1st of next month. Members are expected to ask a lot of questions about her missing emails. Clinton says those emails from her private server have either been handed over to the State Department or they've been deleted. And the U.S. has now lifted a ban on sending military supplies to Egypt. President Obama decided to unfreeze the 2-year hold after a talk with Egypt's President al-Sisi. The two discussed the upheaval in Yemen and the rise of ISIS in the Middle East. The White House is now directing the release of aircraft, missiles, and tanks to Cairo. And in Yemen, the Iran-backed Houthi rebels continue their assault on that country. Saudi-led airstrikes pounded the Shia rebels for the 7th day in a row. One factory was hit, and 23 workers there were killed. And tomorrow is the 10-year anniversary of the death of St. Pope John Paul II. Today, at his weekly audience at St. Peter's Square, Pope Francis said the world continues to be inspired by the faith and passion of St. John Paul, I should say. He has asked the people to pray that the Polar Saint shine a light through the darkness, which there is, of course, a lot in this world. What happens when molten lava meets ice? Take a look here. Cool stuff. It actually doesn't melt through the ice, but the steam keeps it right on top. And now an artist and a geologist are trying to sell this stuff. Science. Another update coming up for you in 30 minutes. Now back to Midpoint.